Hey guys, so we're going to jump right into this layout with the layers already put together. I'm using a bunch of scraps from the last three kits from Studio Calico, and I really wanted to get rid of them. So I'm just using a bunch of them, and because I knew it was going to take a long time to get those layers to look exactly the way I wanted them to look, I actually did not record that part. So once I had the layers laid down the way I wanted, pardon me, um, then I decided to start filming because this is such a cute photo of my niece and my nephew, and they were in Ocean City, Maryland, and their parents had this photo taken at one of those, like, old-timey photo booth kind of things. And I struggled with this picture for a long time. I had it sitting on my desk for quite some time, and yeah, so I just couldn't deal with the sepia tones, like, or sepia tones. I didn't know what colors to use with them, and I looked at a lot of brown options and a lot of like the vintage pictures. I'm sorry, the vintage like paper packs and things like that. But the problem that I found it was that the photo, because it's already very vintagey, just sort of faded into the background of any of those vintage photos, those vintage papers. Come on, Gina. I will preface this video by saying that I'm on high dose painkillers because I had surgery on my mouth last week. So, yeah, just take this video with that in mind. Uh, so I used that black number strip to kind of ground the layout, and then I'm adding a little bit more of this orange just to pull that orange from the bottom right hand corner over to the left hand side of the paper. And now I've pulled out all of my sketchbook and my Ready Set Go die cuts, and I really like this ticket that said admit to, but I didn't like the color. I thought that it was a bit too bright. So I pulled out my vintage photo distress ink, and I thought that I would just tone down the color of that ticket, and I think I used a bit too much ink because it didn't tone it down. It completely ruined it. The ink on that just completely got muddled, and you really can't read that it says admit to anymore, and so yeah, it didn't work out. So I'm gonna play with it a couple times to see if I can deal with the fact that it's now very ugly, but it never works out. So I know that I want to have the names Bonnie and Clyde on this layout, and here's where I'm going to show my history ignorance because I don't really know the story of Bonnie and Clyde. I believe they were bank robbers. I think I don't know if they were bank robbers like in the 1920s or the Wild Wild West. I'm not exactly sure. So it didn't matter to me. I went with the whole. I knew they were thieves. And this photo to me has a very bad boy, bad girl kind of edge to it. Gabe is holding a toy gun. Miss Audrey's looking all kinds of saucy. Um, as saucy as a 6 month old can look anyway. And so I wanted to just play on that whole theme of thieves and bad and all of that. So I knew that I should tell you what I'm doing right now. I am going through as if you can't see what I'm doing, I'm going through the transparency and die cut pieces that came in the Studio Calico kit, and that one right there that I adhered says amazing, and then the next one says I will never forget this, the red one that I put down there. And so I'm just going through that die cut and transparency pack to see if what I wanted to use. So I pulled out all the ones that I thought were in complementary colors and I laid them up there. So if I wanted to use them, I could. Now I'm going through my wood veneer alphabet that came in the kit, and it's obviously made by Studio Calico. And I'm looking for the words Bonnie and Clyde. And like I was saying before, I'm not sure the time frame of Bonnie and Clyde or anything like that, but I knew they were. I'm pretty sure they were bank robbers, and my layout may not make any sense if they weren't. But Bonnie and Clyde, because I really felt like they had such an attitude vibe in this photo. And so Bonnie and Clyde, and I'm gonna call it, so the full title is gonna be Heart Thieves, because I really think that this, and if you look at Audrey's little face there, I mean it really does, it just kind of steals your heart, and Gabe's got the perfect expression, and it's perfect. So I decided to title the layout Heart Thieves, and then with the subtitle Modern Day Bonnie and Clyde. And like I said, I don't know if that Bonnie and Clyde reference makes any sense, but that's what I'm going with. I should look that up. I might learn something today. I'm going to be in training all day today, so I really hope I learn more than just a little something. You know what I mean? I've got to sit in 4 hours of training. Oh dear, it's a necessary evil. Um, so I have to sit in on this training today. So yeah, I hope I learn more than what Bonnie and Clyde's deal was. But so. So I'm going to layer my, not really layer, but lay out my title right here. So it says, I thought I was going to put Bonnie and Clyde all in one line and then have modern day above it. But I actually I'm going to put the modern day down now in these basic gray stickers that came in the February Studio Calico kit. And I don't have confirmation that they're basic gray, but they look very much like basic gray stickers. And the only problem with them is I love the size, but they're a pain in the butt. Seriously, to get them to lay correctly. And I don't know what date I did this layout. Let me see. 6/4 is when I did this layout. So, yeah, I don't know. It must have been at night or first thing in the morning. I'm wearing my pajamas. I've been scrapping a lot more in my gym clothes. Gym. We're not saying anything about that. We're just going to let that go. But I've been scrapping more and more in those, in my gym clothes. So actually, I'm somewhat dressed and not in my pajamas. And I only talk about that if you're new to my channel and haven't watched a video before. I only talk about what I'm wearing because I joke about it all the time. So I'm just adhering. This is some new glue that I'm trying. This is Tombomano glue. It's permanent glue, so it's not like my Tombomano multi glue, which if you let it dry without adhering anything to it, it becomes a temporary adhesive. This is permanent, straight permanent adhesive, and it works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it, actually. It dries absolutely clear with no shine to it, which is important when you're putting these letters on, because I was using glossy accents to put them on, and then they all got that halo around them of shine, because, the glossy accents would seep out of the bottom behind the letters and then create that like halo around them. So this one dries completely clear with no shine, so that works out pretty well. And now my titling work is done, which sometimes I find the hardest, and I'm trying desperately to use up these photos, these cameras, and because they were having photos taken, and the whole point of this whole layout was this photo, I thought the camera thing went well. And what I was trying to do up there is I didn't want the hole in the center of that camera to overlap two different pattern papers, so I just took one of those little flags from the basic gray die cuts and things, and just back that camera, put it behind that hole in that camera, so that it didn't overlap two different patterns. And this thing, this little transparency I'm going to use here says the official record, so it brings more red over. So I have red on both sides of the layout, so it's balanced that way, which is always good. Balance is good. And it's only balanced to my eye. Like, I can't tell you if it really is or not. I'm flirting with the idea of going back to school and like really learning design. I'm flirting with the idea. I can't decide if I want to spend the money to do that. I mean, I do, because it's something that I'm passionate about. I mean, I'm passionate about my real job, but my real job, like, this is a job. I don't get paid for this. Anyway, so I had these let's go back to the layout, shall we? I am I am rambling random Regina today. So I used these Amy Tangerine rub-ons, and the camera kind of goes with the theme, but I don't know what I was thinking with the cityscape other than I want to get rid of these things. And I really wanted, because that camera has a very sketch kind of feel to it, I wanted to have that be somewhere else in the layout. And if I could draw, which I can't, I might have drawn something a little bit more appropriate or more corresponding to the layout up in that upper left-hand corner, but I think it works in the end. I don't know, when I see photos like this, even though they were in Ocean City, Maryland, when I see photos like this, I always think of Atlantic City. I don't know why, but I do. So I'm looking over that tape that came from the basic grade. This is a little label that came with the Hey You sticker sheet. It says enjoy the little things, and I'm just looking. And again, I go through everything that came in my Studio Calico kit just to see if I can get rid of it. So there's another sticker that says good day, and I find that I don't do that when I'm using my supplies that I've purchased myself. Like I don't feel as, oh my God, let me get rid of this before I never use it when I buy my own supplies. But when I'm using the Studio Calico kit, I kind of get that anxious feeling that if I don't put this down on the layout today, it's just gonna sit here forever, or it's gonna make its way to one of you. There are a couple of things in recent kits that are headed out the door because I am not going to use them. So here I am with the roller phrase stamp, and one of them says delightful, one says I love you lots, and then I'm going to use the roller phrase stamps, and one says aren't you lovely, and the other one says remember. And I have about a 50% uh, success rate with those roller stamps. And then I saw this trick on a YouTube channel. Holy heavens, I cannot remember her name. So what I did was I masked off the actual day of the date, and I stamped the month and the year because I didn't know exactly what date these pictures were taken. And then I added a heart in the center. And there is someone, Aurora, I think her name is Aurora. Someone on YouTube who did that, and I thought that was a ingenious idea. So of course I stole it, and is it stealing if you give credit? I will put a link to her videos in the description of this video because honestly, if you have not watched her videos, you need to because she is fantastic. She does really really good layouts with lots of layering and I mean she's really really good. So I wait anxiously for her videos to get posted to Facebook. So I will leave her name down in the description of this video so you guys can take a look. So I'm doing my journaling here, and there were a couple of stories I wanted to tell about this picture. One was just that they went down to, Ocean City and they had these photos taken. The other one, Audrey's smile. What you don't know, there are two stories that go along with this photo that I learned later, that my brother or my nephew told me. Audrey's smile there is because the photographer is playing peekaboo with her. So I was like, how did you get her to smile so good? And that is why, because the photographer is playing peekaboo with her. Gabe's face is absolutely perfect for this photo. Like, it's like this perfect reflection of, excuse my French, badass. I don't know why we say excuse my French, but anyway, that's something else I could look up. I should keep a list. So Gabe's face is precious and perfect. And then the other thing that you don't know is that right before this photo was taken, Audrey's father saved her life. Not really. I mean, I don't know, but she almost fell off that chair, and except for a good catch by Phil, she would have toppled on the floor. She's not quite sitting up yet, so she folds herself in half, and on that chair she would have put herself on the floor if not for her father's quick reactions to catch her. So those are the stories that I wanted to talk about in the journaling. That's the final layout. I did my typical run around the layout with a small stamp just to kind of box everything in, and then I did add a couple of asterisks. I'm going to learn how to say that word from the letters just to add a little red triangle around the page. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And I look forward to talking to you guys with more videos soon. Take care.